Me and my partner got together when we were 17 years old. A year and some into our relationship, I became pregnant, and we now have a 6-year-old child together. Our relationship in a sense is similar to the other stories you read on here. We both basically were forced into our adult lives very quickly and promptly together, and for a long time it was okay. We handled it pretty well, and for the most part as a team for a while. While pushing some years down the road, our dynamic becomes more hasty, as I am taking on the role of being the parent for everyone in the house. The grown man that I felt like I was with had kind of just slipped and reverted back into someone who no longer strived to help take care of our environment. Eventually, I was paying the whole load of bills, and he wouldn't marry me after all this time, although he kept promising me for our entire relationship he would. There is much more to it, but in the long run, although he loved me, he didn't want to step up to being the man of our home. Anyways, I'm aware of what has brought me to leave him. I'm not questioning if it was right or wrong. I couldn't continue to feel like an unequal in a home that I was the sole provider for. He has always been a loving and silly father. A little lazy, but I have graced him with the fact that we are young and everyone is living life for the first time. So where I'm getting to with all of this is we broke up the last week of February, due to my birthday being ruined by him, my last straw. And I had really been pushing for him to move out about 2 weeks post-breakup. Of course, this turned into something that was dragged out longer than it had to be, and he was there until the first week of June, finally just moving back in with his mom. Come to find out, he has been having sexual relations with a coworker since mid-May and bringing my daughter around her and her kids. Since the second week of June, behind my back, and I only found out about her through my daughter telling me she was seeing this lady and her kids. These last 2 weeks we have finally become way more respectful in our interactions and working hard to get along for co-parenting. But I can't help but feel wrong that he's already bringing my daughter around his rebound that he met while he was still trying his hardest to lay in bed with me. I am very alone in life. My family is quite toxic and unreliable. My dad died when I was 4. My mom has been a deadbeat drug addict almost my whole life, who I have been no contact with since my 21st birthday. I don't have any friends other than a coworker or two. How stable is that though? Because I really centered my life around my family and hitting our goals. I genuinely thought we would be forever. I work 8 hours a day, 5/6 days a week, and my drive there and back is 40-minute both ways. I don't have very much time for hobbies or friends as it is with my job and my daughter, and I don't think I can really afford therapy as much as I want it right now. I have done therapy in the past, not opposed, just can't afford it right now. IKNOW. There are so many people that have gone through similar stories and pathways in life, and I guess I just need to hear that it's going to be okay. I feel like I have lost every part of myself, and I actively made the choice to leave this guy because I refused to live being treated like a doormat with a hole for the rest of my life. But I did genuinely love him and our family, and I'm having a really hard time mentally with all of this. I want to be strong for my daughter, but I cry alone at night and wish I could call my mom or something, but I will never speak to her again. What do you do when it feels like the weight of the world has collapsed in on you? You have no other human to look to for any kind of support other than yourself. I keep journaling and videotaping myself, venting and watching it back to find a form of therapy. Walking and hiking when I have the free time, but the pain is strong and vibrant on a daily basis. I think it would be easier for me mentally if he wasn't f-king literally another mother and playing with her kids before even getting out of my house and trying to bring our kid around her after me leaving him for not being capable of being a strong leading figure in our own household. But I could never lead him in the first place, only myself, and I'm aware. I need to hear someone else has been somewhere close to my circumstances and made it out okay, and kept the peace for your child, because every day I have to fight to tell myself I can make it another day. I don't have anyone except my daughter. She doesn't deserve to see me this way, and I never try to portray myself anything other than smiles and rainbows, but I actually feel really insane and it's building up really badly. If anyone has some kind of advice, I'm listening. Next story. Im center yi, my fiance is center t. Yes years old, my parents love him to death and my dad considers him his son. He asked for my father's permission to marry me a few months ago, and my mom gave me her first set of wedding and engagement rings my dad gave her when they got married 35 years ago. My fiancé proposed in my room with my mom's engagement ring at my parents' home. It was intimate and romantic for the two of us. My dad is famous and tours with A-list celebrities. He has recently been on tour a lot, and mom goes with him to most of the concerts and is basically a celebrity Stepford wife. Me and my fiancé wanted to keep our engagement and wedding low-key and didn't make a big fuss of it when the fake engagement happened because people tend to judge if it's not big and flashy. After I got out of an abusive relationship and got a restraining order, I have been living with my parents in their in-laws' quarters, so I wasn't alone for the past 3 years. They have a large house and I cover 100% of my expenses. I have a well-paying job that I've been in for 4.5 years working from home, and am a multi-time world champion athlete. My fiancé also does well, and we make about the same when my parents are on tour. I take care of their dog and do everything around the house and properties that they ask or need done. I own my own car and paid cash. My credit score is almost in the 800s. I have enough saved up and investments to put a down payment on a house. But we won't have to after getting married because he was in the military. After he proposed, I told my parents we were getting married, but kept it pretty low-key and didn't make a big deal of it. This was roughly 4 to 6 weeks ago. Last Sunday, we talked to my pastor who he and his wife adopted me as their granddaughter since all of my grandparents have passed. I've talked to them like they were my grandparents ever since. After talking to the pastor, I changed my relationship status to engaged, and people called my parents to congratulate them. They told everyone they had no idea what they were talking about, and I never told them. They both texted me and told me I hurt them by not telling them. Me and my fiancé called them to explain what happened. I reminded them both of the time and location where I told both of them, and they got angry and started screaming at me, telling me that never happened, and I am a liar and we never got engaged because he didn't buy his own ring and there wasn't a photographer to take pictures. I was extremely hurt. My fiancé was with me and confirmed that he had proposed with my mom's ring, and it was small and intimate for us. They kept screaming and cussing me out, telling me we weren't engaged and that wasn't real, so I hung up on them. They were driving home from a concert, and when they got back, my fiancé and I went upstairs to help them unload the car. They continued to yell and curse at us, saying that we hadn't been engaged for about 5 hours. My dad started hurling insults at my fiancé that were completely unfounded and made no sense. When I confronted him about it, my dad started pointing his finger at me, telling me that I needed to get a grip on myself. And I called him on it again because I feel like I'm doing quite well for myself and do not deserve to be disrespected. Mom accused my fiancé of drugging me. I am a drug-tested athlete and never have done drugs in my life, then told me I must have been drunk. I took 1 shot of 60 proof rum my fiancé made to celebrate our announcement because he is a master distiller. I told them that their behavior was extremely inappropriate, and they are being self-centered and will not have a relationship with their future grandchildren if they continue acting like this. They continued to scream and cuss and tell us we weren't really engaged because there wasn't a photographer or a destination proposal or store-bought ring. I was so hurt and ended up turning off my location, where my parents could track me, and left the house at 2 a.m. and started walking down the street. My fiancé came after me and just held me and comforted me. I haven't spoken to them, but I want to give my mom back her rings and cut them out of my life. My fiancé and I are very devoted Christians, and he is insisting I forgive them because they're too stubborn to understand what they did wrong. I feel like they're so selfish that they took my engagement and made it all about them and ruined it. I've never been married or engaged before, and it was really important to me. I didn't want a big wedding before, but now I'm considering just eloping and not inviting anyone to the wedding. I honestly don't know how to move forward.